What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show here on Sherdog.com. And today I have the pleasure of being joined by the best striker to come out of Wolverhampton since Steve Bull, Joy Herbert, as we talk about his upcoming fight. I knew you'd like that one. We're talking about his upcoming fight against Kyle Nelson, UFC London. Joy, how are you today?
That was quality.
You wouldn't get that out these American journalists and stuff like that. You wouldn't get that out of them. So, how has it been following Wolves over the last few years? It's been a great time for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've been a bit out of touch, with the football for a couple of years, but I do try and stay in touch with the Premier League and that and everything. Yeah, and man, Wolves been doing great, man. Fair play to them and that. Yeah, man, they're doing bits it now. So it's all good, man. Let's see how far they can take it.
Yeah, new manager came in and has done pretty well, and getting rid of the old one was like, I wasn't sure about it, but it's worked out pretty well. So good time for Wolves, and good time for the gyms around Wolves as well, and for yourself. Not too far away here now from UFC London, only a couple of days out. How are you feeling? How was the camp gone?
Couple of weeks out, yeah. Camp's on bang on, mate. Yeah, been pushing hard, man. Yeah, I'm just ready, man. Ready for a three hard rounds. I'm excited. I'm excited to put on a performance.
I went back and watched a few of your fights, obviously, before we started today, and I was noticing, like, obviously, your fights back in the day, big crowds. Your last fight, big crowd. But then there was no one in the two fights before that, the empty crowds. How hard was that? Because it's just something, when the fights were just happening, we were all kind of delighted because we'd know their sport and everything. But for you, what was it like fighting in front of empty crowds like that?
I don't know, man. It's a bit of a weird one, man. But because I didn't fight in like an arena. So I feel like that would have been a bit different when you was in an empty arena. Whereas I was at like Fight Island and Apex. They're quite like it's quite close, like quite small, and there is people sort of in there. That all the production crew. There is like certain people watching as well. So it still felt like quite intimate, but it still felt like there was a little bit of like not a crowd, but there was people there. It wasn't like I was in a massive arena and then look around and there's just empty seats. So it was a bit weird not hearing people cheering and stuff, but I was just glad to be able to fight, and get my UFC debut and fight for the UFC. So I was just glad to get there, get out there and keep my career progressing.
Some people absolutely loved it, and some people hated it. Would you have a preference? Would you like to fight in front of no one again, or do you like the big crowds?
Nah, I prefer the crowd, to be honest. I do love the crowd. Even though it doesn't really affect me that much. It's just I just like to perform in front of people. That's all. But yeah, definitely the crowd. I prefer the crowd every day.
What was it like fighting in front of that London crowd the last time? Obviously, it was probably, maybe even since UFC Dublin back in there, it was probably the best crowd since then, just because of the wait maybe for everyone to come back, and the fact that we had the pandemic and you couldn't go to many sports, and then it came back. It must have been insane to be part of that.
Yeah, it was amazing, man. I remember walking out and looked up and I could see it was massive. It was like there was loads of people there, but I was still focused on that. But it was just glad. I was just glad to be part of that, and I'm even happy to be part of the next one as well.
I want to ask you about the matchmaking, because I feel like that's the first question you have to ask you, because I don't think anyone in the history of the UFC has gotten harder matchmaking than you in their first few fights in the UFC. What have you done to Sean Shelby or McMahon or something to get these tough matchups? For you, what do you think about it when you see these names coming in? And it's like we look at, say, Ian Gary or Paddy Pimblett now. They're bringing them up slowly, giving them good names, to drive them on. Whereas you go straight in there. You're fighting Moicano, Trinaldo, Topuria and Kamaru in your first four fights. If you're to say those four names that you would think someone ranked would be fighting guys, of that level, not someone just coming into the UFC. What's your thoughts on the whole matchmaking that you've gotten in your time in the UFC so far?
It's been one of them ones, isn't it? I haven't got a massive following on my Instagrams or whatever, so my matchmaking is not going to be the same as someone who's got frigging, I don't know, 500 Instagram followers or 100 Instagram followers. It's just, I understand that it's a business, you know what I mean? But they always say that when you get in the UFC, there's no easy fights anyway. But like my matchups have been a bit, I've been a bit tough, yeah. But I've just been down to fight. But going forward now, like we should be getting like I should be getting like matchups that are the same people who've had the same fights as me, or the same level or whatever. But it's just been, I don't know, man. It's just been a tough one, and I've done him now. It's at the end of the day, it's been a blessing for me. I've gone in there, fought these top guys, so like I've got the experience. I know what to expect. So I can only just use that and make me stronger.
Yeah, I think it's been the thing. A lot of the UK fighters recently have been getting tougher matchups because of the Cage Warriors route and how tough the Cage Warriors route is to come through. Like you'd fought,
that's another reason.
Yeah, do you think that's it? Like
I was a champion in Cage Warriors, so like I still see that as a reason why you get given them a good tough fights, like as when you first get in there. So. It is what it is, man. It's I just use it as experience, and you use the experience and build from it. So I'm all good, man.
For someone, still relatively young in your career, you have a lot of experience against top level guys. Those 4 people I mentioned, but also, you fought Reece McKee, who was the Cage Warrior champion now. You fought knocked out Joe McColgan, who was the Cage Warrior champion as well. Had lots of big fights in BAM and Cage Warriors before you came there. Like, do you think that's something, even though, obviously, you've taken a few losses in the UFC so far, a lot of people say records are for DJs, and it'll stand to you as you go through kind of maybe the middle part of your career to get to your peak.
Yeah, I mean, the record. At the end of the day, I want to win. You get me? I want to win these fights. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at the records, you just see it. You're like, you say these fights I had in the UFC. I put on good performances and whatever, but I still lost 3 of them. And at the end of the day, if you look at my record or whatever, or in the rankings, it goes. There's a loss there. So I need to be getting wins. So that's what I need to do moving forward, and I need to be fighting professionally and going out there to win and not just to KO people, to go out there and win the fights. So that's what I'll be doing moving forward.
That's very interesting because like you watch your fights, and I'm a big fan of guys fighting in the style you fight, with really good crisp striking and lovely circling, and your circling is it's absolutely brilliant. But do you feel like that's maybe something you need to do more of, and you get dragged into the fight sometimes? We see it, I think Anthony Pettis is a great example of it. When he's circling, when he's striking, there's no one can beat him. But when he stops and he gets pushed up the cage, pushed up against the cage, it gets very tough for him. Do you feel like you're one of those guys as well, that you're almost too inclined to get into a fight, whereas when you stay to your kind of the basics, you beat anyone?
I think you bang on. I do like to get involved now and again into a fight, whereas I could just, I could have just picked people apart for 3 rounds and just move and keep on moving and touching and moving. But I just get involved too much now and again. But sometimes you have to, man. Sometimes you can't help it. But like I say, I'm going to start like mixing it up, using my grappling, using my footwork, my movement, just getting the win. Going out there to get W's, because that's what I'm after now. W's. I'm not bothered about performance bonuses, fucking big KOs. I'm going out there to get W's now. That's my new goal.
Training Team Renegade, obviously the gym has absolutely blown up over the last while, and we've Leon's fighting for a title come up. I'll ask you about that again in a second. But how good is it to be training out of that gym with all the top quality fighters there? We see people coming up, on the local scene through Cage Warriors and other places, but in the UFC and Fabian and Bellator now as well. Like to have that level there of grappling, like Leon and Fabian are very good grapplers as well as very good strikers. That must be something that gives you confidence going against those guys.
100%. It's amazing. Like the gym, definitely one of the best gyms in the world. The amount of talent we got in there, and like people who fight on the top, at the top level of this sport, it's incredible. And I think we're all getting better from each other. Going from strength to strength. We're all working on each other's, we all help each other with our game as well. And we're all pushing each other. That's the main thing. So, man, it's just amazing. It's a special time to be part of it, and I'm so happy that I'm part of the team.
When the gym kind of started or kind of changed to what it is now, everyone was talking about how it's kind of a fighter-driven gym, that there's no real head coach and you're all kind of training each other. Is it still that way, or do you have a head coach now, or what way does it work?
We have a few different coaches, But yeah, we are like obviously there's a lot of pro fighters, and we all know what we need to do. So but obviously there be like the striking sessions, the wrestling sessions, the jiu-jitsu sessions. They're all taken by like coaches. But there is a lot. There is a lot of stuff. It's just like we're all top level fighters. And we do have coaches there that take striking and wrestling and jiu-jitsu. But we all know what we need to do. So we just get it done, basically.
What you think of this Leon fight against Kamaru Usman? Could you give us a breakdown of that? How do you think it'll go?
I reckon Leon gets the win. Yeah, I really do. I really think Leon gets the win. I think Usman's going to look to wrestle with him. He might come out and look to strike with him, but I think Leon's too good for him on the feet, too technical. And then I think Usman's going to look to wrestle, and he'll realise that how much better that Leon's grappling has got. Since the last fought. He might have. It's a fight. He might have. He's a champion. He's going to have. There's going to be both have successes in the fights. But I really feel like Leon's going to definitely get the win. Yeah. I think he's just written in the stars, and I feel like the way how he's progressed, like in the past couple of years, it's been phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to him bringing the belt home.
Be big for the area, big for the gym as well, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely massive. So yeah, looking forward to that. Your fight against Kyle Nelson. What do you think of him? Have you gone back and watched these fights? Is that sort of fighter you are? Do you go back and you watch and analyse, or what way do you?
Yeah. You have to watch the fight. You get a name. You can't just like not watch him. Like obviously, I watch it at the start of camp. I look at his fights, but I'm not like watching him every week. I'm going like really deep into all his fights. I watch a few of his fights. You pick up like the habits he has and stuff, and all that kind of things. That's what every fighter does. And then I think he's a tough fighter. He's pretty solid everywhere in every area. He's a rough guy. He comes out really strong in the first round. So you got to be very careful with him. So, but yeah, I feel like my skills will just take over, and I'll get the victory.
It's funny, you both have the exact same record in the UFC, both all finishes as well, and so it's funny that you kind of got made against each other. And I feel like the two of you are very fast starters as well. Is that something that will be a key here to start how the first 2 or 3 minutes goes, could run the whole fight?
Maybe. I think maybe you might be right, yeah. But like I said, I've been training. The past few weeks, we've been training. For a 3-round fight, and picking people apart, not rushing my work. With the last couple of fights, I've been rushing a lot, and this is what I practice not to do: rushing my work. Taking my time, and so that's what I'm going to implement come fight night.
Gone back and watched all of his fights in the UFC. He's very much a clinch fighter, I would say. He loves to fight out of the clinch. Yeah, well, what do you think of his clinch, and how hard is that to deal with when someone is like I feel like in MMA, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. It's maybe the easiest position to keep, if you get me. It's like you can push someone against the cage, be very defensive, and hold someone there, and he does that a bit, and he's knocked people out from there as well. So it's not a completely defensive position. But how hard is it to fight against someone like that who tries to be like very dominating in a very defensive position?
I feel like he's aggressive in the clinch, to be honest. Not as defensive. I mean, he likes to elbow off the break. He likes to strike off the break. He likes to clinch. But, man, I like to clinch, bro. I don't know if you've seen some of my fights, but I've knocked out people with knees and shit and elbows in the clinch. So if you want to have a little clinch off, we can do that. So let's see.
I started.
I love a clinch as well, mate. Don't you worry about that. I
started calling it dirty striking recently. I know dirty boxing's got a bit of dirty striking. That could be a football sort of clinch. He looks like a very strong guy as well. I'm not sure if he's clinching to clinch or clinching to wrestle. Do you think he'll be trying to wrestle you, or will it be all clinching?
Nah, I think he'll be looking to strike and that, and then I think he'll shooting up to wrestle. But I'm looking to do everything in this fight. I'm looking to, if he wants to grapple, I'm looking to grapple too. Like I said, I'm ready for the 3 rounds, man. I really think I'll mix it up. Not just rushing, going for the big stunning KO. You know what I mean? I need to get W's. So that's how this one's going to play out. And I'm going to get the win. You know, being smart in there. But yeah, if he wants to grapple, if he wants to clinch, you know, yeah, he's got. There's a few things he's got to look out for himself if he wants to do that. But yeah, man, let's get it going.
Nice. There's one thing actually I must ask you for, because I want to ask you for prediction as well. So two more things. I appreciate the time. You were, and this is a question I don't know if you've been asked before. Maybe you haven't. I didn't see it, but you were the person in the cage when the Herb Dean Dan Hardy incident happened. And the kind of the late stoppage, according to Dan Hardy and all. What was your take on that? As someone was like, it felt like you were the kind of the missing link there that no one kind of heard from when all this round was going on. What did you think of that whole situation and how Dan reacted and the stoppage itself?
I didn't really. I mean, I think it dropped me with a punch, and I was like sort of protecting myself. And then he come down and he was throwing punches, but I wasn't really like, even though I stood up at the end, I think like it was a bit of a delayed stoppage, but I don't know, man. I just feel like it was, you know, it probably was he should have stopped it in the end, I think, because I would have took some more damage I didn't need to, even though I was still there, like I was trying to get up, but you know, I don't know. I don't really know. I didn't really comment on it, to be fair. Like Dan Hardy's what he's saying, and that to her. Maybe they shouldn't have shouted said stuff to the ref. I don't know, but I feel like Dan was just he was just looking at a fighter and thought like maybe the ref should like jump in, and like he was still maybe he was thinking about the fighter. So they both had like, you know, things that I can't really explain. Like, I understood where Dan came from, and I understood like where Herb's coming from as well. So, but like I say, I was just gutted anyway to lose the fight, so I wasn't really bothered about any of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. When all that was going on, I was just gutted about the fight.
Yeah, let them deal with that themselves, I suppose. But
yeah, you just deal with that, mate. I'm just gutted about losing this my debut. You know what I mean? After I was doing it so well.
So last thing here, what's your prediction for the fight against Kyle Nelson? My prediction is I think it'll be a very fun first round, and I think you'll get him out of there. I hope he's not listening. But what's your thinking of it? How do you think it'll go?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good fun fight, man. I feel like I will get him out of there in the third round, second or third round. Yeah, third round. What's going on? Oh, can you see me?
I can, yeah, you're still there. All good.
Mate, someone's ringing me and just messing with the screen. Sorry about that.
All good. No
yeah, I'm predicting a third round win by guillotine.
Guillotine, God, okay. I can't call you striker anymore, so I'll have to call you the grappler, Jai. Jai, I appreciate the time. I'm looking forward to that. And if that happens, we'll have a good excuse. We'll have to put that clip up here. So if the third round guillotine happens, everyone get betting on that. Jai, I appreciate the time. Thanks very much. Best of luck in your fight.
Nice one, Sean. Thanks for having me on.